almost time. Get your dag hats on.
Want to do that one? Wait, go ahead. Put that down. Gotta go do a roll, man.
How many times when they fill me with lies and I listen again, twisting the truth and they're playing around with my head. Okay, the things they will do and the things they will say, but they don't really understand. Tears fill my eyes when I hear all the cries for the reason today. And they don't really know even what they're talking about. And I can't even what empty can I dream?
You're listening to Dag. It's the Dag Show, featuring Dag and some other people.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Dag. Dag from the Dag Show up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Jimi Gaudio. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, and I'm really excited to be here. This is an episode of The Sit Down. This is our second episode here, meeting with America's greatest people, average people, normal people like you and me that just go out and hit the grind every day. We're going to play another song here for you. Jimmy's going to use the restroom. We got a lot of stories to talk about, a lot of things to talk about. So what do you got? We're going to play music that Jimmy likes. That's your camera right there. This guy right here.
See it?
See it there? There you go. We've been working on the on everything here for hours, and Jimmy's just learning. So anyway, why don't you play your song, do your business, and let's get back at it here on the Sit Down with Dag on the Dag Show.
Several faces, the same names. Old faces, thought of you. You lied to me and lied to you. Now all this time, you never ever sympathized. All this time, can't find my way back inside. What you give is what you get when you do. Touch away. a touch away, baby. Tell me where am I now? Where now? Show me the road back home. Oh yeah. Tell me where am I now? Where now? Show me the road back home, back home.
Wow, we got through it. We got through it here.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's me, Dag, from the Dag Show, live here in Milwaukee.
Sorry, I wanted a little bit more.
Hey, that's apropos for the Dag Show. Remember, that's your camera right there, although there's cameras all over the place right now. I'm live here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Jimi Gaudio, and this is on the sit down. A sit down is all about sitting down with real Americans, people who wake up every day, go to work, bust their butts to, make things happen for themselves. And it's they're bringing a dog over here. Remember my last sit down, the very first sit down, had the kids. Now we got these are furry kids. Show the puppy. Who's that?
A lot of people out there already know Bailey.
Oh, all right. Well, there's a lot of people who are going to see this over the next couple
Right.
of weeks. So,
When she was
this
a
is
pup.
Bailey.
When she was a baby.
So we're going to be talking to Jimi Gaudio, essential worker, musician, a man who's worked his butt off and has some amazing stories to tell. Now, listen, I've heard some of the most crazy stories that people would never imagine they couldn't get their head around. I don't know if I'm going to get them all out of Jimi today. But
Probably not.
we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So, Jimi, say hello to everybody.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Welcome to the Dag Show. No, don't look there. There.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't look at this.
Okay.
That's why usually I put it over here, but we had that miking problem.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to play some music, too, that Jimi likes to listen to. So, focus. We're here. We're on that camera.
Okay.
So, Jimi, tell me what you do. What do you do?
I help make the world go around.
How do you do that?
I deliver products that you may need.
And how do you deliver those products?
In a 18-wheel truck.
In an 18 so you're a truck driver.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You said earlier that you didn't like that term, truck driver.
Right.
Yeah. Why?
Well, truck drivers have a bad name. Back in the 90s, we did things that weren't acceptable.
Like?
Drugs. Speeding. Just things, you know?
Well, I drove a truck in the 90s. I drove for Schneider,
Sorry to hear
early
that.
90s. I love the company. It was a good company.
Okay.
I did it for a little while. My twins were born when I was on the road. I enjoyed the job. You've been doing it for like 33 years now, haven't you?
It'll be 30 years in February.
Yeah. And what is it that you're delivering?
I specialize in produce and pretty much stuff to restock grocery stores and distribution centers.
This is going to be I can see this is going to be a slow thing here, trying to get this out of you, because you and I have been talking all week, and you have told me everything about why this job is so important. And I want you to tell America why this is so important. I mean, people take everything. We all take everything for fucking granted.
Without people like me, you wouldn't have anything.
Right.
You wouldn't have that pretty little shirt you have on.
Did you just call my shirt pretty?
I did.
Oh, thank you.
I admire it.
Oh, thank you.
You wouldn't have this setup that you have here. If it wasn't for us, we had to bring all of it to you. I wouldn't have this wonderful Captain and Coke right here neither.
So,
you get the message?
Well, we get the message, but we got a long way to go here. Let's not get the message out just in the first, minute and a half.
Okay.
So we talked the other day about you driving a truck. You talked about getting out of the business of truck driving at one point. What is it that you were? How did you get into truck driving? You were in the military.
Yes.
Let's tell that story. I mean, first of all, I'm huge into veterans.
I got out of the military in '91, and instead of trying to be a productive citizen, I decided to chase my dreams of being a rock and roll star.
Okay.
Well, by the time I got to where I wanted to go, which was Los Angeles, there was everything else, grunge, all that. Well, when I got out of the military, I didn't have long hair, so I could kind of fit in, but my style of playing was the 80s. No one wanted to hear that anymore. So instead, I decided to kind of turn into a alcoholic, drug addict, all that stuff.
When you say drug addict, what was your drug of choice?
Speedball.
Heroin?
Speedball, heroin, and cocaine mix.
Is that? Oh, I didn't know that's what speedball was.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I was introduced to it because I was always a West Coast kind of person. So I got strung out on that. I was in Vegas. I was living in a motel room. I picked up a paper, and there were 5 rows of truck drivers. And I said, shit, man. I can make good money doing that. I have a place to live all the time. I don't have to worry about paying rent. I don't have to pay electricity.
This was driving over the road like across country?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I made a phone call.
And let me, just to preface this, let's go back to what year is this? We're starting this
91.
story. 1991.
1991.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I've always wanted to be a famous musician. You know, when I was younger, I took off and thought I could be Ozzy Osbourne's next guitarist. You know, I mean, all of us back that grew up in the 80s, that's what we wanted to be.
Me too.
Long hair, you know, drugs.
Drugs and women.
And other things, yes. But anyhow, yeah, so I made this phone call to this guy, and he knew I was lying. I didn't even have a driver's license, man. And the second guy I called, I kind of knew from the first guy that I talked to what to lie about. I knew what questions to answer. So the second guy, I told him what he wanted to hear. Well, he came and picked me up. I didn't tell him I was at a motel. I met him out on the strip, came and picked me up. Didn't know anybody out there. So he could have been a serial killer, a rapist, whatever. But I took the chance, you know. And he came and picked me up, filled out an application, lied on it, everything. Told him I had like 8 years experience driving.
Driving a semi?
Yeah.
Over the road, you had 8 years?
I'd never driven a truck in my life, dude.
1991, you were like 22 years old.
21.
21, yeah.
Actually, I was 20 years old when I started driving. I wasn't even allowed to cross state lines. I had an ID, and I gave it to him and showed it to him who I was. And the following day, he came and got me and brought me down to California. And as soon as I hit that California state line, I said, this is where I want to be, man. I love it. I love California. And I started driving his truck. He gave me a long-nosed Peterbilt, with a 53-foot trailer, go to Yuma, Arizona, pick up this load, and run it to New York City.
And you had no driver's license.
Nope.
And no experience
No
driving
experience
a
whatsoever driving a truck. None. I'd never even been in one.
I love this fucking story already. It's fantastic.
I'd never been in one, man. Never been in one. So, of course, I grinded gears and everything. He dropped me off. I learned how to start it.
And double clutch?
No, I jamming gears. Well, I found out where Yuma was, and I called, picked up a load. I had a load of lettuce. I'll never forget it, man. Going to Hunts Point, New York. Dude, New York is no joke. You can't even get a car through there half the time. Am I going to drive this truck? Sure, why not? By the time I got to New York, I was good in the gears. Well, I still didn't know how to back up. I got to Hunts Point, and I hit every damn trailer that was on the side of me, bouncing off it like ping pong. I finally got it in the door, in the dock. They unloaded it. All right, I'm good. Well, called him, and he said he wanted me to pick up a load in Connecticut. Picked it up, run it out to L.A.
Still, no driver's license, no experience driving a truck.
Sir.
God, I miss the fucking 90s.
Right. I drove probably 200,000 to 250,000 miles without a driver's license until I got caught. I got caught in Tennessee. I was overweight on my trailer, which I never scaled because I didn't know anything about the rules of driving. So I was overweight. I do believe that the load shifted back, so I was over. And he pulled me in a scale house and asked for a driver's license. And I just stared at him like, how could I tell him I didn't have one?
Right. They're going to know in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I handed him a state ID from Wisconsin, thinking he would say, oh, okay, there's your name, cool, okay, head out. No, it wasn't like that. So, see what this so damn long ago. They took me in the scale house. I told them the truth. I told them I haven't had a driver's license. I was in the military. I'm trying to make money. Blah blah this. Blah blah that. And well, you've had 2.5 years to get your license. Never got them.
2.5 years is what you drove the truck for before you got pulled over on a scale.
Yes, sir. And I made enough money to where I could go get them, but I blew it all on drugs, man. And we were out of Vegas, so when I did go home for the weekend, I mean, at the time I lived with 2 strippers, so you can imagine the parties on the weekends.
Paychecks
By the time
gone.
I left, I didn't have no money. I was taking out in advance to make it out on the road to eat. I mean, I was eating once a day, and doing my fun stuff, drinking a little bit. I mean, we were rowdy. We were crazy. We sat in California, in Ontario, California. I don't know if there's any drivers out there, but you may remember, Ontario, California was a very, very rough truck stop, man. And 9 times out of 10, you were partying over the weekend, and there's prostitutes everywhere, drugs everywhere. And that's what I started liking. This is a cool life. I don't have to do nothing.
And you were young.
Yeah, and I had a son. But I didn't. It was all about me. It was all about me back then. I'd get home on the weekends and I'd go to a bar in Vegas, and I was starting to study a lot of Boston music, and I started playing a lot of Boston. And I was like, man, I love it. I'm out on the road. People hate me. I'm in a bar playing, and people love me.
So between this, as at 2.5 years into this, you're now playing in a band and driving.
Yeah.
When you get home.
Yeah, when I got home. Yeah,
Right.
It was kind of a little side project. I thought maybe I'd be able to get out of trucking eventually and do something with music, start writing. Well, I had a little bit of college behind me from the military and all that, and I figured what I really wanted to do, my biggest dream of my life, was to be a firefighter, because I'm scared to death of fire engines. So I wanted to face it and be a firefighter.
Wait a minute. You're afraid of fire engines?
Yes. I'm scared to death of the sirens of a fire engine.
It's the sirens, not the actual vehicle itself.
The vehicle also, yes.
What's scary about it?
Because I know when a fire engine's coming, something as bad is happening, man. A house is on fire. It's just when I was younger, when I was like 7 years old, I was sleeping in the basement. I had a little room down there, you know. I used to have video games, and I think I had Atari or something back then, you know. I don't remember, but I remember hearing a fire engine in the middle of the night, and I went outside. My parents were outside, and I lived on a curb, and some car had missed the curb and hit another car. Well, that person in that car was dead, the one that was driving, and the fire engines were there. So I tied it all together that since I seen that when I was a kid, fire engines are scary to me.
Are they still scary to you at 50 years old?
When they go by the house, yes, I kind of think, well, I wonder what's going on, man. I wonder if someone's dying, if there's been a bad accident, if the house is on fire. And 9 times out of 10, I'll walk out the front door and walk to the end of the road to see where it goes. Whatever, it's just one of those things, man.
Do you think maybe you have some kind of affinity for the disaster that's kind of ensuing that draws a fire engine in? You know, you just said you'll walk and try and see where they're going. If it's close, you'll check it out. Do you think maybe that's part of it, and that, you know, what freaks you out is the terrible things that are happening to other people rather than the fire engine scaring you itself?
Yeah,
it's the fear of somebody in distress.
Yeah. I don't like to see people hurting, especially physically hurting. You know, mental, a lot of times you bring it on yourself. But physical, I don't like to see accidents. I was involved in an accident in '95. I rolled a truck over.
A semi?
Yes, sir. I was loaded with strawberries, cherries, and kiwi. So I had a fruit salad all over the Interstate 10.
You popped more than a cherry that day.
Yes, sir. I popped many of them. But I that was my own fault. I was coming down off of some shit I had picked up. It was good. It lasted for quite a few hours.
What kind of shit?
Speedball.
Speedball, heroin, and cocaine.
Yeah, it was more heroin than cocaine.
What does, I've never done heroin. What does heroin and cocaine do to you?
Well, heroin is a downer, cocaine is a upper. It gives you an effect like alcohol. That kind of drowsy. How can I explain it without?
Drowsy but fearless.
No, it mellows you out, man. Like when you're severely drunk, it has that effect on you. So I hid it from my family for a long time. I hid it from my friends, from everybody, up until like '99, man. I started doing it when I was 17 years old, and I loved it. I was introduced to it from a family member, and I loved it. You know, you're always chasing that first high, and I brought it into trucking has fucked me up in more ways than you can. Because in the 90s, I was making more money than someone with a master's degree, and I didn't have no bills. I didn't have nothing to spend it on.
Yeah, because you're on the road.
Yes.
The money just goes in the fucking bank, and when you come back into town to see your family, stay in a hotel for a day or two, and then go back to work.
I didn't even see my family half the time. Because I was out, I ran California to Florida. I ran for Walt Disney. Well, the company I was with was signed on with Walt Disney.
Okay.
So I hauled their produce to Orlando, and then from Orlando, it went to Miami, and then it went on the cruise ships.
All right,
So the faster I got it there, the more happy they were.
All right, let me back up here and ask you a couple questions. So, you know, here you are, you know, you're a young man driving a truck. You had no license. You get pinched finally at 2.5 years into this job. of a guy who hired you with no license, which that was the great thing for those of you younger people who watch the show, man. The 70s, 80s, and early 90s up until about the mid 90s were fantastic.
Right.
And then you're struggling with the drugs. You're still driving, but you rolled a semi.
Yes.
How did you maintain your license?
I had my license when I rolled it.
But how did you maintain it after
And
something
the thing was they had found a pipe in there. I've never shot up, man. I'm deathly scared of needles, man. I go to a doctor and
fire trucks and needles
yes,
do you in.
he wants to take blood. I'm like, no, I'm fighting like hell. You're not taking blood. You're not, no. So I'm deathly scared of needles. So I found a way to do this, and it was in a pipe. It was like
Smoking
how
it
they smoke
like
meth now.
Okay, gotcha.
And in a sense, it's kind of like meth, but it I can't really explain it, man.
All right. That's cool.
It's just the greatest high you've ever had in your life, and anyhow.
All right.
So
So now you roll this truck.
Yeah, and they found a pipe in there. Actually, they found it outside of my driver's side window, so they couldn't tie it to me. The truck rolled over on its driver's side. I didn't have a license. I didn't have a seatbelt on. Nothing, man. I'm lucky to be alive. I crawled out of it, crawled up the passenger side window, got on top of the truck, and someone grabbed me. Well, I passed out. I was out cold. I hit my head, knocked me out. I went to a hospital in Jacksonville. They flew me to Jacksonville. They thought I had massive head injuries, but I didn't. I passed out because I was on this.
You were on the shit, and that was a stressful situation. I can
Yes.
only imagine. Yeah.
Yes.
You're probably better off passing out in that situation.
actually-
Let somebody get you
Yeah,
somewhere.
when I climbed up out of the truck, I thought I was dead. But, so I wake up in this hospital room, and my boss had flown from Vegas out there, and when I came out of it, like 9-10 hours later, he said, "Come on, we're leaving." Where the hell are we
the
going?
boss of your
Yes, yes,
Really?
I had already worked for him when I got caught without a license, he didn't fire me. He just said, "Well, now I'm going to send you to school to learn how to drive a truck." I already know how, dude. Well, I'm going to send you to school. Okay. So he paid for me. I came back to Wisconsin, went to diesel driving school in Sun Prairie. He paid for it. It was like $5,600. Paid for it. Flew me back out to Vegas, got back in the truck. So I was legal. Well, I knew that I had to stay clean because they take drug tests and all that. I had a medical card and all that. Well, I stayed clean long enough to take the test, pass it, and back to driving again. Well, 5 years later, I roll a truck over. They find the pipe. They couldn't tie it to me because they didn't know if it was there. Someone threw it out their window
Right.
while they were driving by. Back then, man, they didn't take fingerprints. They didn't do none of that.
Right.
So I fly back to Vegas with him. I stayed in Vegas, partied it up for a week, and then he said, "Come on, man, I got another truck for you." So we go back down to Fontana, California, and brand new long-nose Pete. Shit, man, all I have to do is crash a truck. I get a brand new one. And then I got a nice stainless steel spread axle with that, man. And I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm
You're
a
pimping
pump now,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Hair's long.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Hair's long, man. I'm driving down the road, jamming fucking Metallica and shit. I'm on top of the world, man. I got this big long-nosed Pete. But I tell you, man, those nights when I climbed back in the bunk and I smoked my last cigarette for the night, I wished I was at home. It was all, it's all a big facade out there, man.
Were you married at the time?
Yeah, but
Well, it sounds
Kinda
like
not,
it sounds
you know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so you were married. You were legally married, right?
yeah.
And then life when you're on the road has a tendency, like a rock star, has a tendency to kind of sometimes play out in an
Yeah.
awful way that if it was happening in your town, you'd be in a lot of trouble. But who's going to see you
Yeah, you're
1,800 miles away? Who
1,800.
knows?
Hell, I was 3,000 miles away, and I stayed down on the bottom. I stayed down on Interstate 10. There was times I wouldn't come home for 8-9 months, man. As long as the produce
Really?
as long as the produce was running hard, I stayed.
What did your wife at the time say? You being gone for months and months and months at a
I
time.
want a fucking divorce.
Yeah, that sounds,
Why aren't you
seems
home?
reasonable.
Why aren't you home?
That seems reasonable.
Why aren't you with your kids
How many kids do you have?
right now?
Well, are you gonna have more tonight? Well, yeah, right now.
maybe, I
What do you
don't
mean right now?
I have 4.
You have 4 boys, girls. What do you got?
I have 3 boys and 1 girl.
1 girl. How old are they?
29, 28, 27, and my youngest one will be 21 in January.
Do you have good relations with them? Do you see them all or talk to them all?
Well, the nice thing about me being a local now, which I'm home every day, sometime during the day,
Hey.
sometime at night, whatever. My son lives above me, my oldest son, and my grandson lives up there too. And I have the
So
opportunity.
they basically have an apartment
Yes.
above the house. Okay.
I have the opportunity now to build something that I should have built years and years ago. I'm glad that he has kind of forgiven a lot of things that I've done. I mean, I know.
Are you talking about Sebastian, who I met tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so I'm clear.
Yeah, we have a good relationship, but I'm more his friend. I give him advice. Go out with him. We go out and have a couple drinks together.
Well, he's almost 30 years old, so he's just
right.
he's a man.
But
He's
he
not
had
18.
he had learned a few years ago that his one of his family members had lost their father, and they were pretty close. So Scotty Sebastian, his name is, we call him Scotty. Came to me and said, I know that you're getting older, and you're not gonna. One of these days, the job you do, the way you live. I like fast cars. I kind of live on the edge still. I'm 50, but I have fun in life. I could go out one night and not wake up the next morning. So he's kind of looking at it as, you know what, I want to be your friend while I can, because you eventually are going to be gone. And it's a great feeling, man. It really is, man. After all these years, I was so selfish, man, throughout the years. It was all about drugs, music, women, cars.
You. It
Yeah.
was all about you.
Bikes, everything, man. I was so fucking selfish, dude. But I wasn't naturally like born that way to be selfish. I didn't grow into being selfish. When I started driving truck, I learned to be selfish because it was just me. I was by myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So of course I don't want you in my space because that's my safety.
It's your domain.
Yes,
That's your safety net.
That's my safety net.
Yeah.
Well, I learned that I got in a little bit of trouble in 97. I thought I was cool and above the law and stuff and decided to steal a vehicle.
I told you this guy's got great stories.
Yeah. I stole a vehicle, man. Got probation for it.
But it was your vehicle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You stole your own vehicle.
Yeah.
I think you need to explain this because this is a really interesting
really?
story. Well, it's a cool story because, I think that people don't understand the shit we can get ourselves into when we're in relationships.
I co-signed on a vehicle. I got all slopped up one night, decided I wanted it back, went and got it, hid it, drove it out to Vegas, sold it. The only thing she could do was call the police. because it was stolen. I was out on the run for 9 months. I finally turned myself in and said, hell with it, I got to face it. I got probation. I got a 4-year stage sentence. Wouldn't quit drinking, wouldn't quit doing drugs. Went to prison. Went to a rehab. Everything was cool. Went to a minimum. Jumped over the fence to go get a little bit of, triangle. Fell asleep. Came back. They charged me with escape. Went back to prison.
And had to do the time.
Oh,
you
yes.
had to do the 4 years.
Yeah. Before I did almost 6 altogether.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I got out in 2003, December of 2003. A lot of people say that you were arrested. I was rescued, because if I would have kept on going, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
Rescued.
Yes.
I've never heard anybody say that. That is fucking awesome.
Yes, I got arrested.
That was the turning point for you.
Well, okay, I can go do this time, man, because it's fun, whatever. I can hang out with some guys in there, play dominoes and slap cards around and act like a goof. I knew I'd go down to a minimum. Jump the fence. Oh, they ain't going to do shit if I don't come back. All it is a write-up, whatever. Well, I found out different. So I got 3 years on top of that.
So wait a minute, hold on. You escaped from jail and thought they'd just
I
write
didn't
you up?
escape. I didn't escape.
Well, no, but
I went out back to have a cigarette, and I was like, I haven't had any,
any pussy. Say it.
Yeah, I haven't had any in a while. It had been about probably a year and a half.
So just to clarify,
and my hand was getting sore, so I fucking jumped over the fence to get some.
Escaped jail to get pussy and came back to jail.
Well, I
right?
did. I succeeded in getting it, which was only like 3 minutes long. But hey, you know what? Whatever. I fell asleep. I was supposed to be back. I could have. A lot of people did it. They were on work release, whatever. So if I was back by 6 a.m., I was good. I returned. I woke up at like 8:30, and I'm like, shit, man. I started hoofing it back. A cop had come up in front of me, and I took off running the other way. Well, 2 of them had come up and got me. Got out of the car, told me to stop. I stopped. They asked me my name. I gave them a fake name. Well, funny that they had my face card right in front of them.
Right of them.
Yeah, I'd shaved my head, man. I mean, fuck, I'm out on the run. I'm an outlaw again. I'm going to go get this, I'm going to go have this sex, man. I'm going to get on a bus. I'm going to go out to Vegas again and just party, get back in a truck. I'm cool, man. You ain't never going to catch me. Well, they caught me. So at that time, they sentenced me, after like, I don't know, 30 days or something. They sentenced me to 3 years. And I went to Green Bay. And Green Bay is a maximum prison. You're out of your cell an hour a day. That's it. At that time, I said, man, this shit is not for me. I need to do something.
This is 2003.
No, this is 2000.
2000, okay.
Year 2000. In 2000, they changed the law in Wisconsin to, if they give you 3 years, you're going to do 3 years. You ain't getting no parole on it, man. It's truth in sentencing, they call it. They still have it. So they gave me 3 years. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to be out. I have to finish my first sentence because I got revoked on that. Then I ain't going to be out till like 2006 or 7, man.
Wow.
Fuck.
What's that like when you realize that you could be spending literally 7 years in jail with 1 hour fucking a day out of your cell?
At first, when I got sentenced to it, man, I was like, why am I getting so much time, man? You got crack dealers that are getting 2 years, or getting rapists, man. People that rape kids and shit are only getting 4 or 5, 6 years. And here I am, man. I stole a car that I was a co-signer on.
You partially owned.
Yeah. And I jumped over a fence, man. And I actually tried coming back. So, what I was doing was I was minimizing all of it. I was just trying to make myself look good. Like
you were the victim.
This is the reason. Yes, this is
You
the
were the
reason
victim.
why I did it.
The system was fucking you, even though you were trying to fuck the system.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I was
okay,
making
get it.
excuses. Well, I did this. I tried coming back. It was my car. But in all reality, man, the judge looked at it. Like even with the car, I drove it out to Vegas and sold it. So my intent was to take it and get rid of it. Okay. When I escaped from prison, I mean, they asked me, what were you doing? Well, I went to get a little bit and I was going to take off and go to Vegas. Well, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Now you're a risk.
But see now
you're a
there's
flight
a little
risk.
bit more behind that escape.
Hold on, let's do this. I want to get to this. Let's play a song. Pick one of your songs. Let's come back. We're playing music that makes Jimmy happy. His favorite songs. I want to come back to this. Stay tuned. Stay here on the Dag Show. And let's listen to more of the stories this man has. One of the coolest dudes I've ever met in my life, and I'm so happy to be his friend. Go ahead. Hit play, brother.
If I could, I'll show you what child ease your pain. But if I could no longer, would you still know my name? If I couldn't drink the tears that pour from these eyes, would you turn your back on me? Would you wave goodbye? Leave me on empty inside. Waiting my last day to arrive. Wave me on empty inside. Waiting my end to arrive. I couldn't be the shoulder which your head would rest upon. Would you still be waiting on, or would you be gone? If I couldn't keep the smile forever on your face, would I still be around, or would I be replaced? Yeah, wave me on empty inside. Waiting my last day to arrive. Wave me on empty inside. Waiting my end to arrive. And would you promise me the things that never change? And could you promise me the things that stay the same? If I couldn't clear the clouds from over your head,
here live on the Dag Show, and we're playing Jimmy's music that motivates him the most. We're broadcasting through YouTube, which is new to the Dag Show, but it allows us to put everything up on our website and to also share the links across multiple social media pages. So go ahead and click on the link, and you'll be able to see the show live. Go ahead, and Christine is... What's that puppy's name?
Oh, that's my Nixon.
Oh, that's Nixon.
Come here, girl. Come here, baby.
All right, let's get back.
I'll introduce everyone to my
That's Nixon, the
my
old
lab.
girl.
This is my light at the end of the tunnel.
She's 11 years old, you said.
When I fell apart in 2011, she pulled me out of it, and we've had a bond since the day I got her at 8 weeks, and yeah, she's getting a little bit older, blind, deaf, all that, but.
Well, what we need to do is we need to get back to where we were at with you at 2007. And by the way, you should probably say who that song was by.
Oh, that was Zach Wilde.
And I got to be honest with you, I didn't know he was doing his own solo stuff and singing.
Oh, that was older. That was from like
I had no idea.
early 90s, man. That was did a solo album.
Before he became
No,
he was Ozzy's guitar player then.
Yeah. I did an album called Book of Shadows, and it's all pretty much acoustic. All his music. He branched away from Ozzy because he felt that like Ozzy was holding him down. He wanted to do his own.
Right.
And
God bless him. My friend Toshi's good friends with Zach Wilde. I've never had the opportunity to meet Zach.
I met him in 2009, along with Seven Dust and Dope. Awesome concert at the Rave here in Milwaukee.
Nice. Well, now, let's get
He's
back.
not as crazy as you think he is.
He's a pretty normal guy, from what I've heard.
He's very talented, very smart, but he comes off kind of crazy and a rebel. Yeah, that's about it, you know.
All right, let's get back to this conversation about Jimi Gaudio.
Oh, really?
We're in 2007.
No, we weren't.
What year were we in? I thought we were in 2007.
No, we were at like 2000, man. When I went to Green Bay, and I was locked up for an hour. I got out an hour a day, and that's when I decided, man, I got to change. I got to do something because this ain't for me, man. You go to Green Bay, it's max, and there's murderers. You know, people that have light bits, so they don't care. I met a little 19-year-old kid from Kenosha.
In jail, you met a 19-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And...
yeah, you were in prison. You weren't in jail. You were in...
I was in prison,
you were
man, in
prison.
Green Bay prison, dude. Like, you know, I was there. So I met him, man, and we didn't get along. And we got into a fight. And I hit him with a tray, and they put me in segregation. He was black, I'm white. So automatically thought it's a racist thing. But it wasn't. When I was walking to get something to eat, he'd step on my shoes, on the back of my shoes, on purpose. And I'd turn around and be like, hey, man, you know, I'm in a max, man. I don't know what he's in there for. He could have been a murderer. Why would he care if he killed me? I mean, he's already in there for the rest of his life. So I turn around and say, hey, man, you know, could you watch where you're stepping? Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I ain't going to do nothing. You know, I kind of acted kind of like a sissy, you know. I just backed down from people, whatever, man. You do what you got to do. Call me what you want to call me.
Avoid the confrontation
Right.
if you can.
But after he learned that he could get away with it and get something out of me, he kept doing it. So then I stepped up, man. I hit him with a tray. I just busted his face wide open. And they put me in seg for it. And they were going to charge me with battery, but I kind of beat it because he was hitting me. He was doing whatever, you know. He was egging me on to do it. So I did it. And at that time, they gave me a single cell. I was deemed violent. Hey, I'm cool with that. I get a single cell. I don't have a cellmate.
Right.
I don't have to listen.
And everybody thinks you might be trouble, so.
Yeah, kind of. This dude. But he was 19, so he was a kid. He was a baby, And
Yeah.
here I am at 20, 27, 28, 29 years old. However, at 29 years old, I wasn't really proud of hitting dude, but if he does it, then other people are gonna say, "Hey, man, this
You're a chump.
Jimmy's a little chump, man. I can whoop his ass. He ain't gonna say nothing." Well, and I learned from a couple guys that, hey, man, if you act crazy, they're gonna put you on some good pills and give you a single cell. You can do your time nice and easy that way, and that's the way I did it, man. I went on this amitriptyline, settled me down, relaxed me. I wasn't all anxious. Got a single cell. I could do whatever I want, and I could concentrate on what got me to prison. It's not that why I was there, it's what got me there. What did I do before I got there? Well, drugs, anger, thinking I was the shit. I could get away with anything and everything, I had to break that down. Well, where did I fall into the thing where I thought I was a shit? Well, I ran the road 9 months out of the year. I didn't care who was at home. I didn't care about my kids. I didn't care about my family, nothing. So it was like being, untouchable. Well, I broke that down, and it was kind of like a AA program, but I did it myself. I've never believed in counselors. I've never believed in. I listen to what other people say, but I have my own opinion. So I kind of had to dig into myself and find out why I did what I did.
And why did you do what you did? Why did you make the decisions you made? What did you find out there?
I found out that, a lot of ways that I grew up, man. My father was there, but he wasn't there. And I needed to find somebody that was there. Well, I picked my friends over my family, my father, My mom's a great woman, and I don't know if she's watching this, but she knows that she'll always be my hero, She was a great woman to us. When my father decided that he wanted to do what he did and left, me and my sister were left to my mom, so she had to do whatever. My dad never paid child support, nothing. And so anyhow, I believe that I felt when I was younger like I wasn't accepted. My dad was like into baseball. He was into bowling, all that. Well, not me. I was into my music, man. When Ozzy came out, Randy Rhoads was my life. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be Randy Rhoads, man, when I was a kid. So I studied music, and I figured out how it was put together, and I started studying all kinds of different things. Started playing the guitar, started doing this, doing that. Everything was Ozzy, 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 Ozzy. That's all you seen in my bedroom, and my shirts. Everything was Ozzy, man, because my idol. No one else was any better. And only Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. The rest of it was garbage to me. Randy Rhoads, Randy Rhoads, Randy Rhoads, Randy Rhoads. And then came Eddie. Wow, I'm going to listen to Van Halen, man. This Eruption is fucking awesome. I would love to learn how to play that. I studied it for a little while. I never mastered it. I never really... When Eddie came around, into my life, what should I say? He's always been around, but...
Eruptions on your shirt.
Yes, sir. No one will ever be like Eddie. No one. You can try to copy it, but it's not going to happen. No one will ever be like Randy Rhoads. Ever. He was very simple. He played a minor scale, but he ran it classical, and the shit he did with the guitar was unbelievable. Eddie, he reinvented everything, man, with the guitar. probably half your crowd out
Well,
there
that's
agree with me.
the whole conversation about great guitar players and why they're great and why they're so respected is a long conversation we could have. What I don't want to do is get off track here, and we're getting off track.
It's all right. Anyhow,
So that's right.
Anyhow,
So what
I studied my music and I chose my music and my friends.
is that? What made you
All right,
turn
then-
your life around?
No, I'll finish this a little bit. Here.
Okay.
So when I was younger, man, you know, it was the '80s. Smoking weed was the thing. Everyone smoked weed. It went along with the music. Along come Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, all that. You go to a concert, man, you got drugs all over the place. So I figured, man, if I want to fit in with my friends, I didn't have to, but I chose to fit in with them with the drugs. I tried weed. It wasn't all that cool, man. I just didn't like the taste of it, you know. Alcohol, you usually throw up when you drink too much. So what drug could I find that I loved? Let me try a little bit of cocaine. This is good shit. Then
The 80s were fantastic for cocaine.
absolutely.
I knew a guy who said so. Just say it.
Absolutely. Then I kind of got bored with the cocaine, and you know, back then I heard things, man, you snort too much cocaine, your nose will fall off, and
Yeah, I
all that
remember
fun
those
shit.
stories.
You can't
yeah.
have kids and all
Right.
this and all that. So
You have a limp dick for the rest of your life. Yeah.
So I kind of I remember hearing about heroin when Guns N' Roses came out. I never really idolized Guns, but it was to fit in, you know. I mean, Paradise City is absolutely awesome, man. So is November Rain, you know. But hey, I'm gonna try some heroin, man, because my idols are doing that. The people I look up to.
You were impressionable at
Yeah.
that time, looking for something to connect with.
Believe it or not, like back in those years, man, I looked towards Steve Clark, and he was an alcoholic. He didn't do anything but drink. I mean, maybe he'd smoke a little weed, but his main shit was alcohol.
He was a vodka guy.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he played with Def Leppard,
Mm-hmm.
and the early Def Leppard was awesome. But when I heard Hysteria, I fucking fell in love with it, man.
Well, there's something about your musical taste. We were talking about music and going through music earlier, and all the stuff Jimmy pulls up has this really gentle kind of start to the song. It's got piano, it's got acoustic guitar, and I'm like, everything's kind of pussified with you the way it starts. So,
But
that's what you like.
I've always looked at music as a part of me, and it's kind of a weird way to look at it, man. A guitar is a phallic instrument. You know, it's like, I'm sure you know what I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
So
I know
music
the
is very
definition.
sexual. So you start out slow, you speed up, and then you slow down at the end. It's that's how I feel about music, and a lot of stuff I listen to starts out like that, man.
Yeah, clearly.
And some of it is extremely fast in the beginning. I can listen to Pantera at 1 minute and turn on fucking Jackson Browne the next.
All right, I got to steer you back to where we were going.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now here we are you're in prison. You met this
Yeah.
19-year-old kid, and
Yeah.
you decided you needed to turn
So I
your
went
life
into
around.
segregation, man, and I figured where I fucked up in life was I chose my friends instead of trying to be a son to my father. I've always gone to the beat of my
Was your
my
father
own drum.
was your father a dad to you, or were you trying to be a son to the dad?
I wanted friendship more than anything. He could tell me something and fuck you, I'm going to do the opposite. I didn't want to live the way he did. I mean, the only time he told my mother that he loved her is when she was walking out the fucking door. And then, you know, there's physical shit. I watched my father beat my mother up, break her ankle, break her wrist, call her names, and I kind of thought that's not the right way to treat people. It's just not right, man. I mean,
So you become you start to become a product of that environment, and if you don't want to,
but I realized this early, so I didn't want to be.
Right.
So I chose my own path.
But you
which
had
was my
no
friend.
instruction as to where to go.
Well, I seen him
had
smoking
to
weed
figure
and
it
drinking
out.
all the time.
Right.
And so I figured, fuck, man, my dad's doing it, I can do it, I'm cool. I used to steal weed from him all the time, man. I used to steal alcohol from the basement. And my mom ripped on me, but my dad, he didn't give a shit. You know, there's many times I went to the bar with him and drank.
So
he was condoning it. So, hey, I can be friends with my dad by going out and partying with him. And my friends do the same thing, so I'm cool with them too. Well, after I realized what kind of person my dad was, where him and my mom separated and divorced, I went my way with my friends. Well, they went the way where the rock and roll was. Okay, you see fucking Ozzy snorting a line of ants. Oh man, that'd be awesome, man. Let's go try that. I mean, the crazy shit. I mean, I'll bring up my buddy Corey. I've been, I mean, he's gone now. He passed in 2015. He was like a brother to me, man. Wherever I was, he was. Vice versa. And then we got Phil in there. And then we got Roger in there. And, you know, we were like the worst four guys in Kenosha, man. We used to walk down 52nd Street with our shirts off, man. Just, you know, people would, I mean, this is when, you know, I was a little bit, you know.
I'm going to lure you.
I know, here we go again.
What was...
All right, so I didn't want to be like my father, man. So I chose drugs and friends. And I was very selfish with it.
But you're in jail at this time.
Yes.
What was the turnaround?
Yeah, so what I did was the things that I've seen, the people that I've met, I decided, man, I'm going to write a book. Because somebody would like to read it. And it was all based on 80s music, man. Every chapter was a 80s song verse. And a lot of it was Queensryche. I love Queensryche. Operation Mindcrime. You know, shit like that. And I just put it together and I started writing, man, from the time back when I could remember going by my grandfather's house and playing with these plastic bowling pins and shit for Christmas and stuff. I mean, it was just things that I remember.
Back to jail and you're turning around. Focus.
But this is the stuff, okay, this is stuff that I was writing about.
Okay, so you're writing about those memories.
Yes, and I'm writing about these memories and I'm kind of putting it all together and I'm like, man, I did that? The fuck did I do that for? And I got very graphic with it. You know, very graphic to like the once you start getting in your own mind and it's quiet and all I had was a roll of toilet paper and a Bible and I decided I didn't want to read the Bible, which I actually did later on, but whatever. I figured maybe I could find myself in religion because everyone does that in prison. So I studied Buddhism. I studied Italian witchcraft. I studied all kinds of shit, man.
Italian. I didn't know there was such a thing as Italian witchcraft.
So I didn't believe it, man. I didn't believe any of it because I can't see it. I'll believe in this guitar because I can see it. So I started writing, man. And I'm writing and writing and writing. I'm putting all this stuff together, man. And I get to like the area of where I got married. And I'm like, shit, man. I need to reread all of this.
Your first wife or your second wife?
First.
Okay.
And I went back and I started reading all this all over again. Because I started getting caught up.
Reading the things you were writing?
Yeah. And I started reading it again. And I went back and read it again. And read it again. And I thought, fuck, man. Dude, I was fucked up at the age of probably 13. Because I started thinking for myself only. I didn't think about how my mother felt about things. I didn't care about how my dad felt about things. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he said, you know what, fuck you, dude. I didn't care about how my sister felt about things. I didn't care about anybody except myself. And that's when I started going off the deep end, man. And drugs helped me find an outlet. Music was my outlet. I remember being grounded when I was a kid, grounded in my room, my dad taking everything out of my room. and I would just sit there listening to music, man. I have like a photographic memory. For many years, I woke up with a song in my head. I just automatically woke up and I was singing. I was listening, hearing a song. And music was my complete outlet on everything, man. It has defined me even up to this day. Some music gets me in a good mood, some gets me in a bad mood, some makes me want to drink, party, whatever. You know?
All right, well, let me lure you back
changes
in here.
Okay,
You're in prison. You're writing down all these things about your life. You're rereading them and realizing that you were really fucking up and you were being selfish and you weren't giving any consideration to the people that mattered to you, or you were choosing the people that were. Here's what I see. Let me just throw this out here.
Hold on, man.
So you were choosing to be around the people who were technically expendable in your life. You lost them, you just get another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The people that were doing cool things. And cool things to me were drugs, pussy, and fucking music.
So how did that, at that point you're in prison, you're rereading all your own writings, then what happens in your mind?
I broke myself down.
You beat yourself up enough to...
I remember how the military did it when I went through drill.
Basic training.
Basic training, yeah. And I said, man, I got to do that again, man. I got to break myself down and get down to the nitty part of why I'm angry, why I chose to be selfish, everything, man. Just point blank, what the fuck? Well, I came up with it, man. I was angry. And anger is a secondary emotion. I was angry because my father just kind of said, fuck you, man. And I seen all these friends of mine as they got a little bit older, you know, oh, my dad, yeah, we're going hunting, we're going fishing. And here I am, fuck, man, I wish I could go out with my dad. I did go out with my dad, but it was drinking and partying. And then he could tell me anything he wanted to about my mom. He used my crutch as a weapon for me to believe what he said to get to my mother. I realized that and said, hell with that. I'm not going out with you no more. My father was very physically abusive to me. He beat my head up against a gas meter when I was 15 years old. I had a horrible concussion. I was comatose for quite a while. I woke up, my mom was there. They charged him with battery. Back in the late 80s, they charged you with battery. They don't throw you in jail. They give you a citation. You walked away with a
$100 ticket.
Yeah, a $300 ticket or whatever, and don't do it again. Okay, here I am in a fucking hospital. And then after that, I went to a foster home because I couldn't go home because it was my mom and dad were going through their shit. And
you were in foster care, huh?
Yeah, I was the fucking problem. I was the reason why my mom and dad got divorced. I was the reason why my dad went out and drank and partied. I was the reason for everything. And I believe, wow, man, maybe if I was a better son, maybe my dad wouldn't be like that. Well, they sent me out to a foster home because when I got out of the hospital, I said, I'm going to kill that fucker. You know, he broke my glasses, man, and just, you know, in front of one of my friends, embarrassed the shit out of me. I'm going to kill him. So they put me on a foster home. Well, the foster mother got a phone call one night, man, from my mom. She was crying. My dad had beat her. I stole my foster mom's car. I was 16, something like that. I remember it was a Cougar XR7, man. I think it was badass. Had an awesome fucking stereo in it. And I remember listening to Metallica, Seek and Destroy on the way to the house where this had happened. And by the time I got there, my dad was there. My mom had already gone. Well, my dad trashed the house, man. Broke everything in the fucking house. And I walked in the house, and the first thing he said, what are you doing here? And I said, I've come to kill you. And, oh, and he pushed me. And the first thing I grabbed was an ice pick, and I stabbed him in his leg.
You didn't tell me that story before.
Well, man.
Now I'm hearing a whole new story about this.
Who the fuck's revealing shit? Whose show is it?
The show's all about you, man.
All right,
And
well,
it's
I mean,
all about
you. You wanted me
and
to open up and talk to you,
Yeah,
man.
no,
I'm at
I'm-
that point where, hey, man, I'm cool.
Yeah, well, listen, this is important stuff because, like I had told you earlier, and I had told Christine, to be able, everybody in America has a story.
Yeah.
Especially us just kind of in the middle, who are always getting up every day. We're going to work till the day we fucking die. We all got stories. And the fact you're sharing this kind of in-depth story is meaningful, not just to me, but it's meaningful to the people who will see this.
I went to jail in 99.
He won't take a compliment, Christine,
No,
will
I
he?
won't.
Ever.
I went to jail in 99, and I stayed in jail for 9 months as a condition of my probation. I got out. I was drinking, partying, man. I didn't even go back out on the road. I started driving a tow truck just because my PO said, no, you're too much of a flight risk. You have too many connections out in California. You have too many connections in Vegas. You could easily just take off and never be seen. Okay, cool, man. I'm going to change my life. Well, I couldn't stay away from the alcohol. That's all I really did for 9 months. While I was out for 9 months. But I kind of thought, man, during this time while I'm out, I just had a awakening a little bit. I was in jail. I don't like jail. So, right. So my dad, my dad had remarried, and I figured, I've always been a better person, man, to go back and, yeah, I was a dick, man. I apologize. I'm sorry, whatever. Even if I'm not, I still go back and take the blame because whatever. End of story, So I went over by my dad's one night, man, and we were shooting pool. I had another buddy with me. And we started drinking a little bit. I started doing shots of 151, lighting them on fire, and slamming them down, Well, my dad started in with me. Oh, you fucking loser. You ain't never going to mount them. Oh, I see where this is going. Started putting them down even further, man. Just one after another. And I finally had enough, man, and I grabbed him by his throat, and I put him up on the wall, and I had him about 2 feet off the floor. And if my buddy, his name was Bob, if he wouldn't have pulled me off my dad, I probably would have killed him. That was kind of my turning point with my father. I can't...
And that's like 1999?
Yes. But... Man, I tell you, there's so many people in this world, man, that have so much pain about their parents, and they
I'm one of them.
Yes, they take it out, they drink, they do drugs and all that because they don't want to face it. At that point, I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna stay drunk. I don't care if I go to prison because I'm better off in prison anyhow. I'm not poisoning people. I'm not hurting people. Fuck it, who cares?"
3 hots and a cat.
Yes, I kind of said, "Fuck it, I'm going to prison. I don't care. I don't care anymore."
I knew.
I got a job driving a truck, man, again, local. Well, I had a good relationship going, I thought. I mean, I still had my wandering eye and my wandering hands and, wandering other things, But it was okay, And I said, man, I'm going to settle down, have another kid, all this shit. She got pregnant. It was all good. And I kind of said at that point, I don't know if I really want another kid, man. My youngest one was like, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. Why do I want to start over, man? Fuck it. Do I really want to be with her? I don't know, man. And then I was influenced by other people. And I still kind of thought, man, maybe my music would go somewhere. Maybe I can still go out. I can't do that having a kid. And it's just, I went nuts. And I started doing the drugs again, the hard shit. And
The heroin?
Yeah, I never got caught. I never got caught by my PO, man, never. How I got caught was I was coming back up from Illinois, and my truck was overweight. They had double loaded me with paper. And I had a Nevada driver's license. Well, they had suspended it like 6 months before I thought I was in jail.
You gotta be
Well,
fucking
it's a
kidding me.
misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor to drive a commercial vehicle with a suspended driver's license. I caught a case while I was on probation. So the misdemeanor, the drinking, she knew I was strung out.
Turned into a felony?
No. The things put together, all that. She knew I was strung out on fucking dope, man. I'd show up at her office and I had my hair up in a hat, walk in there smelling like Pabst Brewery and shit, you know. She knew I was...
You're a PO.
Yeah, she knew I was doing so. I mean, she called me out of the blue. I need you to come down. I can't right now. I'm sleeping. Oh, if you don't get down here in a half hour, I'm putting a warrant out. I'm down there. Put my hair up in a hat, man. I still smell like partying from the night before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went to her. I remember going to her office, man. And I said, you know what? Just revoke me. Just send me to fucking prison because that'll save.
Did you feel
that'll
safer?
save my life.
Did you feel safer in prison at times than you did out in the real world sometimes? Because it sounds like
absolutely.
that because you've said this a couple of times that you send me there, just let me. That's where I'm going. 3 hots and a cot and. I need my own cell, and
I still say it. I still say it. When things get rough, man, I went through a horrible divorce 2.5 years ago, man, and it's still kind of, fuck, I don't even really want to get into this, but she can't let go. I'm still her friend. I still care about her. I don't love her, but I care about her. And there's sometimes during that divorce, I said, fuck it, man. I'm going to go do something, and I'm going to go back to prison. Or I'm going to grab my 40, and I'm going to fucking just blow my head off.
You've had those thoughts of just ending
Yes, sir. I think about it. I mean, probably in the past 3 months, I've been happy. I'm looking at the world different now. I've met someone that treats me great. She puts me on a pedestal, which she shouldn't, but she does. We make a good team. We communicate. We talk. The sex is awesome. Just I do stupid shit, and she laughs at me. I went through a relationship for 13 years, and she never smiled. Even when I had her home built, she never fucking smiled, man. And it's hard to deal with someone that looks at you with disgust. She was disgusted because, and here we go with my theories, but you gotta have chemistry. Chemistry makes a relationship work. There's a few parts to it. There's mental, physical, emotional, and sexual. If you don't have those 4, dude, you're going to be craving for it, so you're going to be wanting it. I didn't have mental stimulation with her at all. There was no conversation. So I conversed with other women. Well, she didn't like that. Emotional, I'm not really good at showing emotions. When I'm really fucking drunk, I'll show emotions. Yeah. But I don't like to show emotions because that's weakness. That's the way I was taught. Was you're weak if you cry.
I'm very similar in that.
Right. The physical attraction to her, maybe. Sometimes. Sexual, well, of course, So I was craving mental stimulation, and I get mental stimulation by conversation. And I craved it, and I talked to other women. I talked to other, I didn't talk to them in a relationship basis. But then I sometimes wondered, wow, what would it be like, And yeah, I was a horseshit husband, man. I cheated. I did drugs. Took off. Fell out of my realm in 2010, took 60 Klonopin. Don't remember 8 days of my life. I was in La La Land in Hawaii, somewhere. But a lot of that was because stuff built up, man. And I'm not one to talk about what's on my mind. I just let it go. Okay, cool. It's okay. It's okay. I don't like to call people out. I've kind of learned to do that in the past couple months. You know, when I see some bullshit, I call them out on it. My marriage was a learning thing for me. I learned what not to do. I never paid any attention to her. Everything was me, 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 me. I went back to my selfish ways. Okay? I'll kind of go back a little bit. There was an accident in 2006 that changed my life fucking forever, man. I lost a girl, and I lost an unborn child, man. And it fucked me up. I didn't want to deal with it because if I dealt with it, it would show weakness. And people feed off of weak people. So you got to stay strong, man. So I learned through my prison time, you got to be strong. I learned when my dad left, I had to be strong. I learned when I was out on the road, I had to be strong. I had to fend for myself. So it carried on to, okay, this is a traumatic experience. I got to stay strong, man. I got to keep going. Man, I sat up north in Rondecita with a gun up against my head for like 4 hours. I wanted to pull the fucking trigger so bad.
Can we
No.
Can we talk about the accident? What happened? This was somebody you loved? Somebody you were in a relationship with? I mean, if you're not comfortable talking about it, you know, don't. But
it was a woman that I fell head over heels for, man. We had that click. She was my 80s girl, man. Listened to the same music, man. Thought the same way. We both had been in and out of trouble. When I got out of prison, I kind of made a deal with myself. I'm gonna give love a chance, man. And it doesn't matter on what you did in the past. I'm gonna love you for who you are right now.
you never felt most of your life that you had love, knew how to give love, knew how to accept love. Is that what you're saying?
I never learned how to love. The only time that my father loved my mom was when she was walking out the fucking door. I never learned affection.
This is probably why you and I get along. We have a lot of the same problems. Anyway, go ahead.
So I found this girl, man. She loved me because I was cocky. I'm a cocky motherfucker. I still am.
Yes, you are.
Right. So she loved that about me. Well, I was her 80s dude, man. I love my 80s music. And, you know, it started out awesome. But then I seen a lot of problems that she had, man. And I'm not going to throw any fucking names out there because, you know, her kids are probably watching. She had a little bit of drug problem. A lot of Vicodin. But I decided, you know, man, I'm going to love this girl anyhow, man. Because eventually, she won't need that drug. Because I'll be her drug. And for a while I was everything, man. I mean, I just said I'm going to do it. I'm going to open up my heart, man, and I'm going to love. No matter what your problems are. Well, we had a child in 2005. And went up for adoption. I was kind of conned into that one, but you know, it is what it is. Probably couldn't take care of it anyhow because she couldn't because of drugs and shit. And what I did when I was in prison, I evolved. When I got out of prison, I didn't do any drugs at all. I barely even drank. I was on parole for one. So I had a clear head. I cleared my head when I was locked up. Okay, this is what I want to do with my life, man. I'm getting a little bit older, man. I don't want to come back here. But I do want to fall in love, man. I want to have that feeling of just that euphoric feeling, man, when you can't wait to be home. You can't wait to see that person, you know?
Right.
And I found it. But she had problems. And I figured we could work through it. Hey, I got problems too, man, you know. We had a kid. Went up for adoption. I changed my way of thought towards her then. It went from love to disgust to hate. But I still loved her. You can relate on this one.
Yeah, the love doesn't go away if you're a decent person. So
right. I hated what she did, but I loved her as a person.
Right. And
even though the baby, you know, went up for adoption and everything, I gave it a little time. I went out with other people and was actually living with another woman, just, you know, I didn't like her because she was bossy and it was her house. She wanted to tell me what to do all the time, and I'm like, fuck you. You ain't gonna tell me shit. And we didn't get along. She kicked me out every other day. You know, whatever. So what I was trying to do was, man, when I got out, I was trying to develop a new personality. Before I went in, everybody knew, oh, fuck, man, I don't want to be. Jimmy's coming, fuck this shit. He's on something. He's going to act like an ass, whatever. I wanted to be the person that people wanted to be around, not the person that they didn't want to be around. You know what I mean? That got invited to things because, you know, I was cool. So I kind of developed a new personality and a new outlook on things and just kind of looked at things totally different. I was clear from the drugs. All right, anyhow.
So now you're with this woman.
Yeah, she gives a baby up, man, and I just kind of like, you know, I don't know what to do. It's probably for the better. Okay, so I go about my business. Well, she stalks me and finds me. And as soon as I seen her, I said, I gotta have her back, man. I can't be without her, you know? And everything was cool for a while, man. And then I just seen signs of, like, you know, I always used the road as a crutch. When things were getting bad.
Get on the road.
Fuck yeah, I'll get an over-the-road job, I'm gone, man. I don't have to deal with that.
That's familiar.
Yeah. And
this is almost like therapy for me. Keep going.
Right. Like I've always said, you can learn a lot from a dummy. So anyhow, you know, I knew that I still loved her. And I got back with her, man. And I thought, you know, I thought I could look past the shit. But I couldn't. I could only give so much then. I don't want to give you 100% because you might fuck me again or you know, you're going to hurt me again. So you put up that wall. But, I mean, she probably got 80%. And then eventually she got 100 again. And then we decided, hey, let's do this the right way, man. Let's have a kid, get married. We're good. Well, she got pregnant. It was kind of a surprise, but that's what we both talked about and wanted. New Year's Eve day, I took her to California all the time with me. New Year's Eve day.
You took her in the truck. She would drive with you in the truck.
Yeah, just to get away from the kids and get her head together and just kind of
spend a couple weeks with you. You guys driving around.
About a week. We'd go out, man, and maybe we'd stop and see her grandma or whatever, man, and you know, just get away from the house, get away from everything. And fuck, dude. That morning we woke up. We had stayed by my dad's because I was kind of cool. I started being kind of cool with my dad. I kind of realized, yeah, I was a piece of shit, son. I probably shouldn't have stole that alcohol. I just kind of, even though he was a dick, I still said, fuck it. I can apologize for what I did, and I can accept it. Let's go on, man, because eventually you're going to die. And I don't want that on my conscience. So I started hanging out with my dad. And when I came home, I was on the road. When I came home, I'd stay with my dad. And we woke up that morning, and I remember her grabbing my leg and just looking at me. Didn't say nothing. Mind you, like 3 days before that, I'd come out of Maryland, and I was going up to Wausau, and I stopped in town and picked her up so she could ride with me. And I remember going to Walmart, walked around Walmart. She decided to look at the jewelry or something. She's like, why don't we get a ring? And I said, maybe someday. You know, just a lot of shit, man. It's gone through my fucking head, man, over and over and over and over and over. But we woke up, man, and got ready, and we went to my truck. My truck was parked up in Oak Creek. They service it, fuel it, and all that, and you know, you're ready to go. So I went up there and got the truck ready, cleaned it up and stuff. I threw my dog, I had a little fucking Jack Russell, little crazy thing named Petey. He was fucking awesome.
He used to drive with you in the truck?
Yeah, he ran away in Wyoming, man. I had to come pick him back up. He was fucking cool. But yeah, I mean, he was a shelter dog, man. But I mean,
so you guys get in the truck?
Yeah, we get in the truck and I'm cleaning it out, and I had a bag of trash, like, I don't know, cigarette things, whatever, man, soda, whatever, man. And I throw it out the driver's side door. And I'm putting my CDs in order. Back then, I mean, I didn't have USB and shit.
Right.
I had CDs, so I'd kind of line up my CDs on the floor, what I wanted to listen to. Because when I got in the truck, man, I drove and drove and drove and drove and drove until I couldn't drive no more. 700, 800, 900 miles, 1,000 miles, just go. And my music kept me awake. I wasn't using drugs, so I turned to my music as a drug. Well, I lined up all the CDs and everything, and she went to Arby's, got some Arby's, came back, and we were sitting there eating, and she's like, I'll throw the garbage away. All right, cool. There's a dumpster back behind my trailer on the other side of the lot. And I said, well, we didn't have Petey in the truck. So I said, I'll get Petey out of my car. My car was parked right next to my truck. I said, I'll grab Petey out of the car, man. And I'll start getting things by the time you're back from the dumpster, man. We can take off. So I get Petey in the truck. And I get him kind of settled in the back, man. He had a little tiny bed, man, he slept on. I mean, he was an awesome dog, man. He's made for a truck. So,
she goes to take the garbage.
Yeah, she goes out in front of the truck, goes around, grabs the garbage, and goes down the driver's side of the truck. And I looked out my mirror, and she wasn't there. What the fuck is going on, man? Didn't think nothing of it. I waited about 5 minutes or so, you know. The fuck is taking so long? I thought maybe she was on the phone talking to the kids, you know, hey, you know, I miss you, whatever, love you, whatever, I'll see you, whatever. I jumped out of my truck, and she was laying in the middle of the lot. And I didn't kind of put it together at first. I thought maybe she had fallen. And so I ran up to her. I could tell by the way that she was laying that it wasn't that. She had been, she was ran over by a truck. From what I can remember, I kind of bits and pieces, but the other driver was probably 100 feet away. She was about 100 feet away from my truck, the back of my trailer. And I ran up to him and I grabbed him. And by that time, there was someone else coming in, bringing a U-Haul or some shit, man. And she started screaming, and the cops were called. I went back to my truck and thought, man, this is a fucking nightmare, man. This isn't happening, man. And I sat there and I had a cigarette, and I thought, fuck, okay, let me go try this again. And I got out of the truck and I went, and she was still laying there. And by that time, the police were there. I grabbed her shoe. I don't know why I grabbed her shoe, but I grabbed her shoe and I brought it back to the truck. And a cop came over to me and told me to give him the shoe. He took it 6 times. I got out of the truck and grabbed the shoe. The 6th time, they dragged me away from her body. They had it covered with yellow tarp.
Let me stop you there. I no disrespect here, but she was pregnant with your child.
Yes, she was between 5 and 6 months.
So this happens, and you're in shock. You're going back and forth, not in no belief. Can't even wrap your head around what the fuck is.
I thought maybe I was sleeping,
dreaming.
And it was dreaming. The scene was like a fucking horror film, and I thought I was dreaming this, man. And by grabbing her shoe, man, that was a piece of her. So this is real. So how am I going to deal with this, man? And so the 6th time, they dragged me back to my truck because I kept fighting with the cop. I mean, I didn't throw any punches at him, but I was pulling away from him, and I had this, like, retard strength, man. And I got 2 of them on me, and I'm going back to her body again. Well, they brought me back to my truck, and they handcuffed me to my steering wheel. And the detective sat with me. And he interrogated me like I was a criminal, and asking me personal questions. And I didn't want to answer them because it was none of his business when the last time we had sex. When the last time we got into an argument. It was none of his fucking business. And I told him, man, I'm not going to say shit until a lawyer is here, because I don't know what's going on. And
all the while
I kind of blanked out from there.
She's dead in the parking lot.
Yes. Well, I remember going back to the truck one time, and I called my dad, and I said, "You need to come up here." I'm not going to say her name, but she's dead. And my dad's like, "What? What are you talking?" I said, "You need to come up here." And that's all I said. I called my mom, and I told her, and she got my sister, and they came up there. I called her stepfather, which is a police captain. He was. He's retired now. But I called him, and I talked to him. And I remember kind of going through some shit with him, and this guy that hit her only had a driver's license for 2 months. He'd been driving a truck for 2 months. He was from another country, and I was going to kill him. I had my hands around his throat. This is what I was told. I don't remember this, but her stepdad talked me down from him, and then I went my own way. They treated it like a crime scene, because they didn't know if I went crazy and did something. They don't know anything. Well, my parents weren't allowed to come in. Her parents weren't allowed to come in. And they stayed out towards the road. And he handcuffed me to my steering wheel. I had to piss. I had to piss in my pants because he wouldn't let me go. He interrogated me for a little while, and then I just shut down. Well, he said, we'll go through our stuff. You need to leave. I mean, he's kind of telling me get out of there because he just seen that I wasn't there.
How could you be?
Right. And so I don't remember if I got out of the truck. I had to have gotten out, but I don't remember getting out. I remember my car, I had a Bonneville, a really nice badass SSE, man. Anyhow, my dad somehow drove my car. I wanted to ride with my dad. And I thought, maybe I was thinking this would bring me and him be close, man. Me and my mom are close. Me and my sister, right at this point, it ain't too good. But maybe I thought maybe this would, I don't know what I was fucking doing. But I can only speculate that I was looking for my dad, for looking at him for sympathy. Hey, man, and I don't
advice, some guidance on what to do,
or just talk to me like a human being and say, man, you'll be
like
okay.
A man.
Whatever, man. This wasn't your fault, because I remember driving away from there saying, man, if I would have only been a better fucking person, man, she wouldn't have done this. I mean, I don't even know if I should say this, man, but in my head, I think it was suicide, man. And I live with that. I live with that thought that it was suicide, and I may have caused this. And maybe if I would have acted a little different, maybe if I wouldn't have said what I said, maybe if I would have paid attention or read between the lines, maybe this would have never happened. But I've learned since then that if you want to kill yourself, you're going to do it no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to tell anybody generally.
Yes,
either.
if the opportunity arises, you're going to take it. But if you miss that opportunity, if someone stops you from it, you're going to find another opportunity to do it. So it would have happened whether I was there or not.
So let me just be clear here.
So I remember driving home, man, and my aunt, bless her heart, man, awesome aunt. She had cancer, and she was on some good shit. Well, my mom went over there and got me some good shit, and I stayed by my dad.
Some pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I took all these pills, and I remember calling her mother and talking to her and doing nothing but crying. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was like, fuck, man, I can't even really explain it, man, how I felt. It just felt like someone ripped my heart out of my chest, and I was just walking around just aimlessly with I didn't have no purpose, man. And that came on real quick because reality hit me quick. When I was on my way home with my dad, reality hit, man. Like, fuck am I doing?
You're alone again. You don't have a team.
Yes.
You don't.
And
Your team's
I didn't
gone.
lose just one. I lost two at one shot. So I get back to my dad's, man. I remember throwing a bottle at my car. I don't know why. I just threw a bottle at my car. And I went upstairs and took these pills, and I called her mom and talked to her mom for a while. And then I went to sleep. And I don't remember, like, the next couple days. I don't even remember if I got out of bed. I know that I broke down one night, and I went by my sister. And I slept on her chair. And I remember another night that I broke down and said, fuck it, man. I gave everything I could, man. I gave my heart. I started loving her again, you know, kind of, okay, I understand why things happen. It was just like she could do nothing wrong, man. And I grabbed a duffel bag, and I put a Black Label Society hoodie on, black pants, and I got in my car, and I went up north, and I had a 45 at the time, and I put it to my head, man. And I thought, I'll put it down, put it back up, put it back down. And the last thing that I remember thinking about was the look on my mother's face when the police came to tell her that her baby boy is dead. I don't think I could live with that the way my mom would probably fall. You know, I mean, that's the last thing I thought about, man, was the look on her face. And I put my family through so much shit. Why be selfish and fucking take my life? Fuck it. And I threw the gun on the floorboard. I was on my way home from Necedah. I got pulled over in Portage, right before the rest area. My father had called my mother, and somewhere in between all the lines, he got a hold of state patrols. Be on the lookout for his car because he's probably...
They're afraid you're suicidal
My father
at this
told
point.
me. Yeah, my father told me when I left the house, because I left with a duffel bag. I had my gun in there, and I had some trinkets that she had got me, that little black box over there, and a couple other things that I remembered, like a Tesla t-shirt. We went to see Tesla, just memorabilia. And I threw it in the back seat. My father knew when I walked out that door that he would probably never see me again, but he did not stop me. You know?
listen, let's do this. This has been a really intense conversation.
No, man. We've been at this for 2 hours.
Well, it's a Dag Show.
Mm-hmm.
We do it as many hours as we have to, and it's amazing what's happening here right now. Why don't you pick a song? Let's take a little break here and come back at this. This has been pretty heavy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're here live on the Dag Show with Jimi Gaudio here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're going to be right back. What song are you going to play?
I think I'm going to go with a little bit of Adrenaline Mob.
Who?
Adrenaline Mob.
Adrenaline Mob.
You ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
All right, brother. Ooh.
We'll be right back here on the Dag Show.
Immaculate dream, make breath and skin.
What a great freaking song. I haven't heard that song in a long time. Oh,
Yeah, that was,
let's stop that. Oh, hit pause.
that was actually done by Duran Duran, believe it or not.
Let me get us back here to this view. And let's get that set there. So, wow, powerful story.
Yeah, very personal. Can't believe I'm doing this. But
Does it feel therapeutic at all to talk about it?
I've talked to people about it, people that I'm close to, and people that won't judge me. I mean, at first, when I talked about it, I kind of used it the wrong way. I used it to get a little bit of leverage, and for
Sympathy?
yeah. And then I learned that people looked at me a little different and treated me a little bit different, talked to me a little bit different. And then I realized it was only because of that, not because of, you know, the thing I run into a lot is people say, man, Jimmy's a dick. But they're judging it on who I was. They haven't taken the time to get to know
Jimmy today.
yes, the changes that I have made and the different outlooks in my life, the way I look at things. You know, I mean, like years ago, man, I thought I was too good for people, man. Nah, dude, you ain't cool, man. I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? If you don't have something to offer me, I don't want to talk to you. And I was taught that way. You know, a lot of this goes back to the way I grew up and realizing that it was the wrong way to think. You know,
Well, it sounds like kind of when you were 13 is when it started. You were kind of on
Yes.
your own from that point, you know?
no, I had my mother. My mother's always.
But you had a disconnected father to a degree. So, you know, a growing young man can't just have a woman. It needs a dad that's there and active and in a family unit that can help, you know,
Yeah.
the two of them, the female version, the male version, can help guide a young man
I
into
realized
life.
that like 13 that I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be abusive. I didn't want to be.
You didn't want to be an asshole, but
Yeah.
you didn't have any instruction.
My father was a very racist man, and that maybe that comes from being Italian, but that still ain't no excuse. My.
Go ahead.
I need another drink.
I'm trying to get you. We just had a break.
I know, but you know.
Christine,
Yes,
would you make Jimmy a drink, pretty please?
certain.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the way I grew up, man, was racist. If you don't have something to offer me, you ain't no good for me. You know, how can I explain it, man? I was better than everybody. I was cocky. My shit didn't stink. You know, I lived the rock and roll lifestyle. I did drugs. So I was up there, you know, but I wasn't a nice guy. I was an asshole when I was drugged up. You know, when I was drinking, I was an asshole. I used to get extremely violent when I was drinking. I mean, I'd fight people 3 times my size and get my ass kicked just because I thought I was, you know, bulletproof. And that came a lot from anger, from being rejected when I was younger. And so, I don't know, it's a fucked up theory, man, but like, I went out on my own to try to find myself. I always had big dreams of playing with a band and being up there, a big band, you know, making it big, because people would look at you and you'd be important in their life. And that's all I wanted.
You got that hour where you're the king.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The adulation is fantastic.
yes. And I learned that when I played out in Vegas, and played out in California, man, that people, I mean, I did all cover tunes, man, but people were like, man, you know, wow, these guys sound great. Maybe like 50 people out of the crowd would think, wow, man, you know, they sound awesome. But the other ones, we've heard all this shit before. And then you try new things, you know, shaving your head, and you just try different acts. So I tried so hard to find myself for so many years. And when I went to prison, I decided, you know what, man, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be the guy that people want to be around, people want to talk to, all that. I'm going to give it a shot. Because I learned growing up that you have to be strong, you have to be tough, you can't let people in, you got to have a wall. Loving people and caring about people is a weakness. They'll get in and tear you up, and so fuck you, I'm going to be strong, man. I'm going to be the toughest motherfucker out there. And that's what I tried doing. I went about it the wrong way. I started losing family members, didn't want to talk to me, man. They didn't want to be around me. I was drinking all the time. You know, I remember going to like a wedding reception and getting kicked out by my family because I was too fucked up. And I was getting lippy and wanting to fight. One of my family members that may have said, oh, you know, you're acting like a dick. Oh, come on. You know what I mean? That was all the stuff that I reflected on when I was in prison. And I didn't want to be that person no more. And so I got out and developed a new personality, a new way of looking at things, a new way of dressing, everything, man. A total new me, you know? And I kind of liked it. And I ran with it. I'm a very blunt, to the point person.
No shit.
Right. I don't sugarcoat nothing. If you want it, I'm not going to tell you something that you want to fucking hear. I'm going to tell you something that you don't want to hear. And sometimes I look at it like, man, I shouldn't be that way, man, because it hurts somebody. It hurts you to say that. Even though you know it's the truth, I say it. And it hurts you. You know, like our discussion the other night.
I was just gonna say that the other night you and I had a discussion, and here's the funny thing about things that hurt people: it's things we already know, and we're unwilling to accept, and sometimes it just takes the right person with the right delivery to say those things to you, and you and I were on the phone. I mean, we've been talking a lot lately, and I met. Let me clarify this.
But I've also realized that there's three sides to every
He's
story.
not going to let me clarify.
No,
this.
not at all.
Okay.
That's a whole nother fucking show.
No. I'm not talking about that.
But
I was going to talk about how I met Jimmy.
There's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. I take everybody for who they are until you give me a reason not to. I trust. I let people into my home out of trust. You know, it may cross my mind that, hey, you know, this motherfucker may come back and rob me next week. Crosses my mind. But I take that chance. You know, I let all of these people into my home. You know, I'm a trusting person until you give me a reason not to. And I'm getting cottonmouth. I sure am thirsty. But, you know, that I never was like that. I never had trust in people. I never wanted to hear your fucking story about your life. I didn't care. It was all about me. And I had to drop that me thing and say, okay, you know, this man right here has feelings. He may put up a hard wall and be a tough guy and talk about Trump and all this bullshit, but you know what? In the last week, I've got to know him in a totally different way.
Oh, you're talking about me right now?
I am.
Oh.
I've got to know him in a totally different way, and I've got to know his feelings because I put him out there, man. Because I told him like it was. I see things in black and white. There is no color in my world. Either it is or it isn't. And I learned to be like that because, you know, being honest and truthful with people is the way to be. If I lose friends, I lose friends. Thank you, bartender. That's just choice. If you can't face the truth, that's your problem, not mine. I put him out there the other night, and he said, "You know what? You're right, man. You're absolutely right." I didn't know exactly what the outcome of it would be. I thought, fuck it, I don't want to talk to you no more. Fuck this shit. Fuck the show. Whatever. But I put him out there, man, and I think it brought us a little bit closer. Like I said, man, I'm an honest dude, and you know, that's who I am now, and that's what I've become, and that's the way I'm gonna stay. I've learned to love people.
Well,
the turning point in my life with that was...
He's never going to let me talk.
Well, who are you interviewing?
I'm interviewing you. It's your show, really, today. It's a Jimi Gaudio show.
You know, let's see. When I got married, man, she was in a situation, and so was I. And she had been kind of rejected from her ex-husband, and I had just lost someone. And we were kind of needing each other at the time. And it started out as a friendship. And, I mean, if you ask all my friends, man, they would never picture me with a woman like this. Because...
With your last wife?
Yeah, she's not a beauty queen, man. She's not. She's just a simple person. When I met her, she didn't swear. She doesn't smoke. I think she was going to church when I met her. She's just a very simple person, man. And I kind of looked at it. She had only been with like three guys, man. And I kind of looked at it. Wow, this woman is inexperienced in life. So the experiences that I've gone through, maybe I could. Instead of me being sad about what happened, I can make her happy by sharing my world with her. It's kind of like bouncing the sadness off of me and giving her happiness, and just say, fuck it, I'm not going to deal with my sadness about what had happened. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to word it.
Well, let me try and word it for you.
Okay.
So in other words, the difficulties you dealt with in your life that you came to terms with, you can share those and show people that it's not quite as bad, and that you can change, and that you can pass that along.
No, all
right. That's why I don't have a PhD in psychology.
I put my sadness away, and my anger, and my disappointment, and everything, and thought, if I showed her things in life, and we built something together, something that she never had, I could make her happy, okay? Mm-hmm. Instead of my own happiness. But what I've come up with is she was trying to do the same thing too.
For you or for herself?
For me.
Okay.
We kind of felt sorry for one another. With her being inexperienced with shit, it was a thrill to take her places that she had never been. I mean, I had a Dodge Ram, and she had never driven a truck before, man. I let her drive it, and she was just ecstatic. Just simple things. And I watched her smile, but it was only for a split second. I promised her that when I got with her, if she helped me through this dark time in my life, that I will build her a home of her choice, man. And that happened in 2015. I'm sorry, 2013. Then it started. The company I worked for went under, put me out of work, just put 32 of us out of work, trucking industry, lost the contract. So I was driving 400 miles to get to work. I was driving to Mississippi, and then doing 5,500 miles in 10 days or 6 days, whatever it was, doing a turn, coming back. getting my paycheck, going home, staying home for a day or so, driving back another 400 miles, go out and do it again. And it was just, and it was wearing me thin, man. And she came up with something like, you know, I can see a change in your attitude, I can see a change in your health, all that shit. But I knew that I had to keep providing because this was a house we built from the ground up. I stayed in touch. I ended up taking it all off my computer, but I would go there when I was in town and I'd film stages of this home being built. Who the fuck gets to do that? I stayed in touch with the home builder, and all the way down to the toilet roll holder, man, we picked it out. We had custom colors for our floor. Our floors were $26,000, man. Brazilian cherry wood floors. This house was beautiful, man. Unbelievable. And I was proud of it, man. Here I am. Fuck them.
All that shit you went through, and here you are building your own home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Picking out toilet paper holders.
Yes. And what got me there was staying off the dope, looking, you know, forward, keeping my goal, and working. Trucking has given me so much, but has taken so much from me. The time with my children, I cannot get that back. The time with my family, I cannot get that back. But it has given me, I live in a simple home.
It's a nice home.
But I
in
have
a beautiful area.
Yes, but I have guitars everywhere. I have a beautiful Silverado. I have a Corvette. I have a $50,000 Harley.
You have a beautiful girlfriend.
Definitely, but I didn't buy that. Trucking didn't get me that. It started out in a truck. Hey, whatever. We won't tell that story. But anyhow, I believe people come into your life for a reason, whether they make it good for you or bad for you. I was straight up with her right from the beginning, man. My ex-wife lived here when I met her, and I told her. I had some hurdles to jump over, but she left, and I figured she would be good for me. You lose love after a while, man. And I had told my ex-wife that I would never love her like I used to. I still love her. I don't want anything bad to happen to her because she helped me through the darkest part of my life.
She was a transition.
No, she helped me through.
But she was a transition because you married her. Didn't you marry her pretty quickly after you lost your girl in that accident?
I was with her.
Pretty quickly, whatever. You got into that relationship quickly.
3 months.
Yeah, that's pretty quick after losing a girl to a tragic accident.
Because I found the opportunity to be with the women that I used to attract were druggies, party girls.
This was a complete departure.
Yes, complete opposite of what I wanted. At the time, after the accident happened, I'd gone back to this 23-year-old girl that I was banging. She had 3 kids, young kids. Do I really want to do that? Yeah, the sex is great, man, whatever. But do I have a future with her? Fuck no. I don't want to take on a baby daddy role. I don't want to do that shit. I was 30-some years old, 36 years old. I don't want to take on, everyone wants a young girl, man. But, with young kids in the house, fuck that, man. I wanted to live.
Well,
I found this woman that would give me the opportunity to live, man, to have fun.
And to see a different side of life that wasn't consumed with the chaos.
Yes, within like a month of meeting her, she had told me, I've been sent your way to make you happy. I will do anything I can to make you happy. Really? Anything? Yes, anything. Hey. Ding, 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 ding. 710 credit? Let's go have fun. I
love your FICO score.
I went and bought a fucking Dodge Ram, $40,000. Went and bought a 4-wheeler with a trailer. Went and spent $11,000, $12,000 on a stereo system for my Ram.
So now
bought
we're
stereo, quit, dude. I went nuts and
We're
said,
in-
"Fuck it, I got the money. I'll pay for
And
it.
what
Don't
year
worry
is
about it."
this? This is what year?
2007.
2007.
But
So now,
at that time, I was counting on lawsuit money, so I knew that I would pay it back. You know, that's a whole nother story. But
so when did you meet? This is Michelle we're talking about. Is that the name or the? No, okay. Frank.
Yeah, whatever. Michelle. Everybody that's watching this knows I was with Michelle.
Okay. So you guys had split up. You guys have kids together, right?
No.
No, you don't have kids together. Okay. So you guys split up. You're still close though. You're close friends. Like you said, you care about it.
One week it's decent. One day it's decent. Then the next day everything's brought up. She's the victim. I'm the one that did all of it. Which I mean, I've admitted, I wasn't that good of a husband because, in all reality, she wasn't really what I was looking for. I didn't have that mental connection. I couldn't sit with her and talk. I couldn't carry on conversation about the things that I enjoy. Music
It was important to you.
Yes. And after, actually, shit, from the beginning, man, she never she'd smile, but just very, like a dark smile, man, I'm disgusted with this smile. And someone had brought it to my attention, like, hey, dude, you ever see the way she looks? Hey, no, I really don't pay attention, man, but I started paying attention, and I seen it, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing my fucking job. You can always tell a happy woman when she's walking down the street and she's smiling. You know you're doing your job right. She never smiled, so I always thought, fuck, I'm not doing. There's something that she does. Is she just with me for security?
See, there's some
Is she
very
just with
weird parallels between your relationships and mine. I mean, we have similar backgrounds, and this is all coming out here. You know, Jimmy and I have been talking. We've been friends for a while, but we never really got this deep on these things. And sitting here and talking to you, there are some very, very consistent parallels between your life and my life, minus the prison stuff and rolling a truck. But, I mean, you take those things out of there, there are some very, very consistent parallels here. You know, for 25 years, I was married to Linda. Now, Linda...
All the way up until I went to prison.
She's not going to let me talk. Can I?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I lived life to the fullest, man. I took chances. I always thought, man, I could leave this state and go somewhere else. No one would know who I am. But I realized that my head always followed me. And I kept that same way of thought. So the people I met were like, man, this is a pompous, cocky fucker. He's an 80s dude that fucking follows 80s music. All these guys are cocky. They know they're fucking good looking, man. Blah, blah. They can get any woman they want. Whatever it is. And that's the way I thought. I went to prison and changed it all, man. It was awakening. And then I, you know, like I said, I got out and loved the woman. And maybe I really didn't give Michelle a full chance. Because I didn't feel it, you know? You feel it when you're with someone, man. That bonding, that chemistry, man. The one I'm with now, Christine, we can laugh at me farting. Something so stupid, we laugh. And that's what I miss so much. And that's what I told her the first day I met her. Is, man, I seen how you smiled at me. I miss that in my life so fucking much, man. Because how I felt with my ex was, I felt that she was like forced to be with me. But Christine's not forced to be with me. She wants to, because she's smiling, you know. I don't know. Let's just talk about that fucking smile. And then, of course, I looked into her eyes, and then that was it. It was over with then.
When we first started the show, you were a nervous fucking wreck. And there was the these moments here where Christine was so tender with you, trying to calm you down and talk to you, and it was amazing. It was actually kind of emotional to see how she dealt with you. You know, we've been here for hours setting all this shit up. People don't realize how much crap is actually in this room. But Christine was very tender with you in the way she dealt with you. She knows you. She respects you. Her and I were just talking in the kitchen about
because I've told her from October. My birthday is October 8th. From October 8th till about February, I fall into an extremely deep depression.
Why?
It gets cold. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the things that have happened in my life that were traumatic. They happened during that period. So subconsciously, I just kind of say, fuck it. I'm more active in the summer, so I'm not thinking about it. During the winter, man, I sit around and play video games and get fat. Go to work, get fat.
He gets fat.
Yeah, drink.
No.
Drink one, Friday or Saturday night. Sometimes I mean, it's just the first time I've been drinking in what? Months. I don't have a lot to do during the winter, man. I work. It wears me out. My health. I partied so much in my life that my health isn't the greatest anymore. Having troubles with my kidneys, which runs in the family. Maybe my liver is going now. Just with all that shit, I don't have the energy that I used to have.
Well, you are 50.
Thank you.
I'm 55.
But
I'm telling you, brother, it starts life. Aging wears on you.
I've lived fast. I've always been a go-getter. And if I see an opportunity, I do it. And it not so much anymore. I've kind of put that down. But like, up until I went to prison, even after I got out of prison, man, I said, fuck it, man, I can have a better life somewhere else. Fuck it, I'm going to buy a condo in Arizona. I did that, and within a week, she was gone. I had to give it up. Shit like that. But I was always a go-getter. I try to stay optimistic and say there's better life somewhere else, man. Wisconsin is such a downer for me. Like last year I stayed out during Thanksgiving. Stayed out on the road, man. Thanksgiving I was sitting in California. My family's together eating and stuff, and I call FaceTime. They're all having fun. I'm sitting in a truck. It was by choice. At the time, my ex was living with me, and I needed to make a decision. Instead of leading her on and saying, yeah, I want to work this out, I want to be with you, I had to think about this. I used to be a just do shit, just spontaneous, man, not even think about it. But now it takes me a while to think about it, And
it's called maturing.
Right, maturity, which sucks, man. It sucks being an adult now.
It's horrible.
Anyhow.
I hate it.
Yeah, so I spent the holidays out there. I spent Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. I spend alone no matter where I am. That's my day of reminiscing and just being in my chest and leave me the fuck alone. Martin, I mean, I'm active during that day, but I don't like to be around people, man, but I stayed out there because I remembered like when I was in prison, man, when I was by myself, solitude with no one influencing my life, I could make a decision. So if I'm out on the road in solitude again, I can make a decision. So I thought about everything, man, everything, just for the past 13 years. And I put everything together and said, man, I'm not happy, man. I'm not. Months ago, I was on the verge of blowing my fucking head off again.
Months ago?
Yes.
From now?
Yes.
Like 3-4 months back?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've even shared this with Christine, man. It goes through my mind a lot because just because of the traumatic experiences I've been through. I mean, I haven't even touched on what I went through in the military, but just the shit I've seen, man, and the way you get treated in life, man. I've learned if you don't stick up for yourself, people are gonna walk all over you. I still really don't stick up for myself. I believe people. I believe in humanity, and it's probably a fucked up thing for me.
But
to do.
that's the sacrifice to being a good person, is that you have to be willing to let people let you down. You have to be willing to say, okay, this didn't work out the way I planned, so I'm going to just push that aside and move on to the next one.
But there comes a point when you say, okay, I've heard this story before.
Everything will build anger otherwise.
Okay, man, I'm gonna say something, and you don't even have to say a fucking word, all right?
Go ahead.
Because I don't want to get on this. I know you. We talk. I talk to Di. I'm friends with her too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have chosen to stay out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
She says what she says. You say what you say. But when it all comes down to it, does it really fucking matter?
No. It doesn't.
Okay, so if she said this, you said this, that was yesterday, man. That's not right now. You know, I look forward.
You know, right before we started the show, you go, I'm not talking about Di.
I know, but I've had a couple of these great drinks and stuff. You
there
know,
you go.
You've got me in a mode right now where I'm talking.
There you go.
Look
at that. Look what I just put in there. The Dag Show.
Which she's a beautiful woman.
All right, we're not going to talk about that.
I always told her she was beautiful.
I know. So Di's a wonderful person. Where the fuck did my thing go? You son of a bitch. Here. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
No, we won't. But I mean, I take it for what it is. Okay, you say this, she says that.
Okay, we're not talking about that.
But if it doesn't affect my life directly.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Play a song, and then I want to talk about your guitars, and I want to talk about that case.
All right.
No.
Because we're going to be perfect timing.
All right.
Dag Show's 3 hours. We got 30 more minutes.
Ready?
Hold on a second here. Hold on. How about if I...
No, I don't want to hear your shit.
Yeah.
It's my music.
My fucking show.
Turn it off. I want mine.
All right.
I want to hear this song.
We'll be right back here on the Dag Show for the last half hour here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin live. Go ahead. Hit the fucking button.
Shut that shit off. Even though it is Zeppelin. Don't change a thing for me.
All right, guys, we're back here on the Dag Show, and what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the things that are important to Jimmy here. In his house here, he's got things that matter. Go figure. So let me switch his camera around. Let me go to that one, and we can walk this one around. So what I'd like to start with here, if you don't mind, is tell me about these guitars here.
It's Les Paul.
Hold on. Let me take that off and put that one there. All right.
It's just a
Well, do you want to pick it up? And...
typical Les Paul, man. What attracted me to it was it's a Les Paul. That's all I have to say.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you got to say?
Yeah.
What about that Strat? Well, no, I'm going to work around here.
Yeah,
I'm the host.
That's my first guitar I ever bought. I actually pawned it 2 times. I went back and bought it. I just love the feel of it, the look, everything.
What about this one here?
That's the newest one to the collection. That's my Wolfgang special.
Oh, it's Music Man?
No, it's a Wolfgang, EVH Wolfgang.
Oh, Eddie Van
With
Halen.
a burnt maple neck.
Okay.
I don't like ordinary guitars that kind of go unique. That one's the Wolfgang special, simple. It doesn't have the kill switch on it, but
Okay.
it still fucking sounds awesome.
And what about that white Strat there?
Since I was younger, man, I've always wanted a virgin white, snow white, all white Strat. I just think it's sexy as hell. As you can see, I do maple necks all the time.
Right.
I bought that last year, and the only thing I've done is put the sensor pickups in it, the Eric Clapton pickups.
Okay.
That
is a Jimi Hendrix
no,
left-handed.
you're wrong.
Okay.
That is an Yngwie Malmsteen signature edition.
But it's left-handed.
Yes, sir. There's one video that...
And it's strung backwards.
Yes. There's one video that he did. It was, oh, shit. Oh, my God. Heaven Tonight. I'm remembering now.
Okay.
Heaven Tonight. That guitar was actually in that video.
That particular guitar?
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
Yes. If you watch the video, you'll see that the left-handed strung right, is in it. That one's actually in the video.
Wow.
Yeah, he did a couple solos on it.
There's Christine.
Yeah, he doesn't play it a lot. It was
just
used
hanging on your wall.
Yeah, it was usually.
How,
it was
you
used
have
as
to
a
come
prop.
here to play it.
Right. Shut up. No, he didn't play it a lot. Actually, it wasn't even used in any recording at all. It was a prop guitar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because Yngwie is Yngwie. Pompous fuck, So I picked that up the year before last. I picked that up.
Well, the house is loaded with guitar and motorcycle memorabilia. Clearly, you love your bikes.
No, I
but
love
that-
one bike.
That cabinet
Here, if you want
there-
to go this way, I'll
Well, we
explain
would
this.
have to. Here's what we're gonna have to do then. We're gonna have to unplug this because this has the mic connected to it. Because remember, we didn't have the cables. So let me go to this, and then we'll go ahead and take this out so everybody can hear you and you can explain what the whole thing is about. And there we go. We'll move this guy.
This curio cabinet is my life.
Hold on. All right, let me switch this. Well,
Get your shirt.
hold on, I'm trying. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. All right.
All right,
So this
ready?
curio cabinet, sorry, we got all this crap of mine all over the floor. So go ahead and tell
Well,
me
yeah.
about the curio cabinet.
All right, man. Here, This is my grandfather right here. That's Rocky Marciano. My grandfather was a boxer, a great boxer. That's a picture of him playing a mock guitar before he passed. He passed not too long after that. This is a left-handed, just a goofy Jimi Hendrix guitar, right? My grandfather was a Cubs fan, so this whole section is pretty much him. I don't know how that one got on there, but that's my Whistling Andy I picked up in Montana at a private. I haven't drank it yet, but...
Well, clearly.
Yeah, I delivered to them. I delivered a bunch of those bottles to them. Little distillery, fun place. Down on this one is my brother Corey. Him and I were inseparable. My replica of my bike, and then my famous license plate fucked. I'm always fucked. I got Tigger back there hanging out, man. He hops around a lot when I play the music a lot. My Cubs, I'm a Cubs fan. If you don't like it, fuck you. This is my favorite drink, Captain Morgan Black. Coca-Cola Bear, I think everyone's got one of these things. This is my cool little monkey, man. I bought out on the road. Thought he was kind of cool. He scared me at first, but it's kind of cool. I don't know if he'll do it in there. There we go.
Oh, he flipped around.
Down in this section is Corvette. I'm a big avid Corvette fan.
You have one in the garage.
Yes, sir.
We have shit.
I got my Black Label Society and Megadeth and Kiss lighters back there. I'm a big indie car fan. I got a little tiny acoustic guitar. If anybody knows about Van Halen, he used a guitar like that on the song called Little Guitars.
Okay.
I don't know how my cologne got in there, but whatever. That black box is filled with demons. I don't open that. That is a lot of things that Lori, my ex that was killed, a lot of things that she had got me. The flowers from the funeral, notes.
That's all in that box?
It's all in that box, and when I open that box, the demon in me comes out. The anger comes out again, So I choose not to open it. I just leave it there.
Well, I'm glad you're not opening it while I'm here.
I think I swallowed the key. I think it's in my stomach. Down there is just kind of things that memorabilia. This is Christine, the car Christine.
From the movie?
Yes, I've always wanted to build one of those. I love that car ever since I've seen the movie. And then there's Bullet there. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Mustang fan. Yeah. This is just a Great Dane thing I took off, got off a trailer and shit, Pepsi, Miller. No, I don't know what that is. Just things I've collected throughout the years that were a piece of my life at one time. 67 Camaro, 68 Camaro, Corvette, of course, a little semi-truck I picked up when I was up north, another one. And down there's a 78 Trans Am. Just little cars, I'm kind of like a child wrapped up in a man's body. My middle finger telling everybody to fuck off.
That's apropos for you.
I collect little monkeys and little stuffed animals. I got them all over the house, man. I got some up there.
So you might be gay.
No, there's no chance of that. I was in prison, so no. There's a black dream catcher right there to catch evil.
Oh, you're gay.
Evilness.
If you got a dream catcher,
whatever. I got one right there too. You walked right under it, stupid.
Yeah, well, it didn't catch any of my.
There's a fucking
dreams.
old Vans hat up there. My Beagle 8, so I decided to keep it instead of throw it away. Sometimes I don't know why I keep things.
All right. Well,
My Cubs.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great place. And let me reset this back up.
It's got a theme to it. I mean, now it's kind
Yeah. It's all kind of motorcycles and, come on, over here.
pieces of my life.
Pieces of your history. That's important.
I don't want to go to the bedroom,
No, I don't want to go there either. You'll rape me.
You're not really that pretty, but
Man,
maybe.
yes, I am.
I mean, I did do time.
I'm kind of adorable.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're coming to the end of this here, and now I am going to talk.
Fuck off.
Um,
I'll let him talk.
Yeah, let me talk. Listen, Jimi Gaudio, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the time that you've been watching the Dag Show and following me. It's been even a bigger pleasure to get to know you. We've been talking a lot on the phone. You're a great man. You've been through a lot of things, and I respect it. Don't look at that. I'm talking to you now.
Well, because I want a song to end this thing.
Well, you go ahead and pick a song. But
Well,
I want to thank you the most for letting me come into your home and talk to you, and for you to tell these stories, because you're not just telling these stories to me. You're telling these stories to lots of people who are going to see this, and it makes a big difference in people's lives to know that they're not alone in the struggle. And I know it wasn't easy. I didn't think you were going to tell one of those stories, a story about, the woman you lost. You had told me about it this week. And you said to me tonight, I'm not talking about it.
I was so nervous about it. Because
it's going to come out as part of your life story.
And I kind of looked at it as if someone else is going through that, they know how someone feels. You don't know how it feels until you go through it. You can just imagine it, but you don't know what goes through. You don't know what goes through a person's mind, man. And sometimes the guilt, sometimes the anger, the letdown, everything, man, it gets to you, and you're like, you know what, man, I can't keep going through life like this. Fuck it, I want to end my life. It's like giving a life because, how can I put it, man? I fucking had this. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she gave her life for me to be free. Maybe it was never love. Maybe I loved her more than she loved me. So maybe she set me free to find that love. There's so many different ways of thinking about it, man. And I've gone through 1,000 different scenarios. And I still don't have an answer. But maybe I don't need to know the answer, because that will be the final bullet. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be the closure.
Life is a loaded gun. Love is the bullet. You know what I mean?
Wow, it's kind of morbid.
Whatever, man. Maybe it's just I'm not meant to know it. But I'm the kind of person that I want to know why the sky is blue. I want to know why the grass is green. I want to know why it happened. Mind you, this happened 14 years ago, 13. And I still haven't found the answer. I look for it. Maybe a complete stranger will say, "Hey, dude, check this out."
Sometimes we don't need to know the answer. Sometimes we need to find the things that happen in our life. What are you looking for?
My damn fucking cigarette.
You put it in there.
I don't know, man.
Anyway.
Got me all fucked up.
Where are you going? We got to end the show. Pick your song. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't hit the button yet. Tuning in to the Dag Show, sharing your time with Jimmy and I. Go to thedagshow.com. This will be posted up on the page here shortly. And I can't. My gig. Be good to one another. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Thank you, Jimmy, for sharing your time and your incredible stories
You're welcome,
with
buddy.
us. The Dag Show is about talking to real Americans about real issues and real things. And Jimmy just poured his fucking heart out tonight. So let's hear it for Jimmy. And we will be talking to you guys real soon. Dag Show, thedagshow.com, facebook.com/The Dag Show. All this will be posted here very shortly. Have a great night. Peace. Be good to one another.
Let me say something.
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
It sure would have been better if Di was here.
She should have been here. This should have been
All
the
right.
show that she did with me.
Let me,
She should be doing them all with me. But
5 minutes and 9 seconds. Enjoy.
Well, close out.
You ready?
Yeah, hit it, baby.
I'm right all alone, I can't see.
All right, everybody. Thanks for spending any time with us tonight. You have a great one. Jimmy, thank you for being here on the Dag Show. Can you get in the camera?